Welcome everyone to the Posa Family Room. At this point in the sermon, I want to use our family room and this cluttered table as an illustration. Remember, I began this message with this statement: nostalgia is a terrible hermeneutic. Again, hermeneutic is just a big word for principle of interpretation. Now, when we look at Genesis chapter 1, nostalgia is the rendering of the text like this. It is this imagination that God created everything out of nothing. It's sort of God speaks and poof, the cosmos is present. But that's not the way Genesis 1 records. In a few moments, I'm going to show you a chart, and you're going to see that the way we reckon time and space, according to the sun and the moon and the stars and the rotation of the earth and all that type of thing, doesn't come until day 4. So what's going on? So let's illustrate by inviting you over to dinner. We've had dinner and we ask the question, what do we want to do? And somebody comes up with the great idea of, hey, let's play Monopoly. Now talk about a vintage game, goes way back. But we have to find space to play this game. So let's say we want to play around this table. It's not the most comfortable table, but hey, we can all gather around it and we can play. The problem is this table is cluttered and it's full of chaos. There's magazines and completed crossword puzzles. There's a candle. There's some Cleveland Brown coasters. There is an iPad mini. And there is some type of offbeat catalog. There is, of course, the most important thing, all the remote controls. But you'll see as I clear this table, and if I was really doing this proper, I'd get a paper towel and I'd get some Windex, because Windex is good for everything, including cuts. And I'd wipe this thing down and there'd be no stickies on it. And I'd create space. Now we're ready to play the game. Oh no, not yet. Not everything is set yet. So now we have to take the game and we have to open it. That's if I can get this top off. And we take out the game board. And as we open the game board, we begin to see the pieces of playing the game of Monopoly are in place. But nothing is set up yet. All I've done so far is create space. Well, you know the next thing that we need to do. We need to count out the money, and whoever gets the lucky responsibility of being the banker has to separate all the money out, 10s and 5s and 20s, and so on and so forth. And now we're ready to play the game. No, we've created space. We begin to organize some things, but we still have to put some things in place. And you know what those things are? The chance cards. And then secondly, the community chest cards have to be put in place. Now we're ready to play the game, right? No, we've created space. We began to organize everything. And yet, the thing that we still need to do is to get out the property cards. And we put the property cards in place. Now we're ready to play the game. No, still not ready. We need a couple of dice to be able to play the game. No, we're still not ready. Things have been organized. The board has been filled. Space has been created. But now you have to pick out a piece. And as you pick out a piece, here's the top hat, and you can put it on go. And that's where the game begins. And when you have put all the pieces in place, it is then you begin to move the pieces around the board. Now, in relationship to Genesis chapter 1, we see the first 3 days of creation that God is creating space. He's putting things in place. But this creation has not been filled yet. All we see is taking place at this point is that there is a place for the pieces to be placed. In days 4, 5, and 6, then we see the pieces starting to move, and as in the game of Monopoly, then you begin to put your hotels and your houses in place, and of course that takes a little bit of time. In fact, it takes a long time. And so you begin to collect these properties and you begin to put these houses in place, and then you begin to really play the game. All I'm talking about is process. And in this process, in Genesis chapter 1, it is an ancient mindset of how God puts all the pieces in place. At first there's chaos. It has to be cleared away. Space has to be created. The board has to be put in place. Pieces have to be ready before the actual creation of mankind and the command to be fruitful and multiply. Take a look at this chart. I think you'll find it helpful as we think about Genesis chapter 1.